emergency, you better give up. Don't you act so selfishly.
Hello and welcome. My name is Darren and this is Real Pressure Flip, and I'm really sorry for not being present for so long. There's been so many things that have happened. I got married, so I've been spending time with the family and the wife and not having had any time in the music sector much. I haven't been able to upload, I haven't been able to record altogether. We're here now. So if you're wondering why I chose this song and not any of the famous ATB songs, let me assure you, ATB's got some masterpieces I feel like a lot of people miss out on. I personally love this song, and this is not more of showcasing of one of his famous tracks, but it's a track I really love and I think you should check out the original. Okay, so let's just, I get this breakdown from track to track. So it starts off with the drums, which is also grouped as I always do, and this is what it sounds like together. So it kind of just sort of loops, and most of the samples from here are from Splice. I've always talked about Splice. If you haven't checked it out, please do. They're fantastic. I cannot live without it anymore. Let's break it down from each element. So first off, kicks. I'm using kick 3. I think I went through a lot of other sample kicks previously, but kick 3 I've started using is so great. One of the things I usually like to do is with the sub, so I don't want to let the sub ring out too long so that it doesn't get muddy. So I usually tend to shorten the length so it sounds like this. And if I shorten the length a little bit too much, that's too short, of course. I'm just going to Control Z. I can't Control Z on this, okay. So it was around here. Or what I can also do is go into amp and then just, but obviously I don't want to do that. This is fine. So it sort of needs to just sort of sit around the 12 mark, nothing more than that. That's what it sounds like with processing, and I'm going to show you what it sounds like without. And when I add EQ, just sort of raised the lower frequencies to get the oomph. OTT, just compressed it a little bit. And then transient shaper to get the transient just really punchy. There you go. So that's with and without. Makes a bit of a difference, doesn't it? Okay, next loop is, sounds like this. Very housey, very groovy. Again, this is a loop from Splice. The only processing I've done on this is transient shaper. This is without it. And with. So if I just push it even more, it's just going to stretch it out. It's going to squash it, basically. And if I just, that's just giving the transients more importance than the sustains. So I'm just going to leave it as that. And then there's the hi-hats, I believe. Classic. I don't know why the utility is there. Probably doesn't need to be. Transient shaper once again. With. Without. Okay, so that was, I unsquashed it. I pulled the sustain back and I pushed the attack forward. So with the attack, it's very sharp. It's like hitting it really hard. Okay. Next up is this loop. Another house loop. I just sort of like to layer my loops every now and then. It can get muddy sometimes. So all of this processing with, without. All right, let's break it down. EQ weight first. And again, this is very stretched out, so I kind of want to sort of shorten it. There you go. The sustains are pulled back a lot. You just sort of shorten the waveform. And you just push, I pushed up the attack a little bit to make it more sharper. And just adding more width. It's not in mid-side mode, so I'm adding a little bit more width. If I was to go 100, like even more, That's too much. That's going to cause phasing issues. We don't want that. And the last drum loop is breaks. This is like a more sort of breakbeat sort of loop, but it's very interesting. It's very subtle. Again, it has processing, EQ8, transient shaper. Again, it was stretched out and I sort of push it back. It kind of gives breathing space for other elements to sort of stand out. So that's your drums right there. And the effects, we kind of sort of just discussed it. In this one section, it has this double clap that I've done for some reason. And what this sounds like together with all of the effects is... And I think it adds another clap because there's a break in this drum loop. So this is what it sounds like with the effects. So it's like instead of ta-ta. And I guess that just adds more character to it. So I just left it like that. I didn't really think too much about it. All right, now let's get into the mellows. Let's just break it down one by one. So bassline. It's a very funky, very groovy, shuffly bassline. There's a bit of shuffle in that. So in this track, at least, that's what ATB's done. And I'm using Serum 2. Great VST. I still feel like I kind of love Spire more than Serum 2 for some reason. I don't know, maybe because of the presets. But Serum is still phenomenal. I'm using some preset called Electric Bass. In this track, the bassline is very simple. There's nothing very bassline driven in this. It's very simple, like fretless guitar. And in terms of processing, let me just turn everything off. I think I put the utility to sort of turn down. Oh, okay, yeah, I did that for mono. And then equalizer, really pushing up the lower frequencies. And then with over the top. And then transient shaper. Again, really pushing the transients in. And then Kickstarter. And then the limiter. I don't think it's even kind of hitting the whole thing. It kind of does, like at some point, so I don't want it to just peak. Okay, onto the pads now. Very nice and spacey. Very simple though. And of course, I've used Spire. By the way, this is just pitch because I'm terrible at music theory. I play from A minor and I just sort of transpose it. I click on this and yeah, it's called like First Sight or something. I don't even know where it's from, but...
Shouldn't I forget?
It's pretty much sort of repeating the same chords and then just adding that a little bit for variation. It just sounds much nicer that way. The processing on this is, again, very simplistic. There's not much in terms of reverb or anything. Everything I've left in Spire itself. So this is what it sounds like without. EQ. It's not that much that I've done on that. I've just pushed down the lows because the lows were sort of peaking up. Kickstarter, of course. And with utility, we've sort of taking it from the sides more towards the mid, just to avoid any phase cancellation issues. And that's it for that. Let's go with Vox first, because this is a very important section of the track.
Shouldn't I forget, or should I change my life instead?
So there's a lot of processing going on, of course, but even before I move forward with this, I do want to let you guys know that the vocals I sang, I treated them with Melodyne because I'm really not the greatest singer. First, I processed it through Melodyne, and then I've got auto shift. So let me just show you what it sounds like without any processing at all.
Shouldn't I forget, or should I change my life instead? before it's changing me.
Oh, I've got the plosives issue because I don't think I sang it through this, or I don't think it worked very well. Nonetheless, I just figured I'm just gonna leave it like that. Otherwise, I'm never gonna finish this project. Let's start off with gate.
Shouldn't I forget?
Especially this part.
Words suck.
Otherwise, it's got that sound. The gate's gonna take care of that. It only triggers it above a certain threshold of amplitude. And then there's the utility, which I've turned out it with -2. And then there's Pro Q for processing.
Words stuck in my head.
I've turned down this section a little bit, especially because my voice is very nasally. This is what the nasally section is. And if I push it up a little bit, it's gonna sound like I'm Himesh Reshammiya. That's a horrible comparison, but I had to do that.
Words stuck in my head. Words stuck in my head.
The sidechain compression.
Words stuck in my head. Silence is another prayer.
Clearly, there's a lot of makeup happening, and with the output, I've pushed it up 11.2 because vocals really need to stand out in a vocal track. And on top of that, there's the auto shift. I love auto shift. It's so great. I love having like a native auto tune plugin, not having to sort of use, although Antares, Waves, both fantastic, but just having it built in, it's amazing. So this is what it sounds like with.
Words stuck in my head. Silence is another prayer.
So I'm not going full T-Pain, and I've also turned down the format a little bit down. Introduces some kind of artifacts, but apart from that, I think it does pretty well. And then there's a whole section of compression and OTT, and then there's delay.
Words stuck in my head. Silence is another prayer. Taking control of me.
Okay, so the little chipmunk sound that you heard it's this changing here in the Kashya's delay, and I'm pretty sure it's changing the timing, and it introduces that sort of pitch glitch within that. I'm not sure why that happens. Actually, if someone can explain that to me, that would be great, because I know this happens with every delay plugin. But apart from that, I really like the Kashya's delay, especially because there's a duck feature built in. This section has the piano. So I ended up using Ableton's, I think, grand piano. I'm not sure if I would call that stock or not, but it's got a beautiful sound, and this is what it sounds like on its own. With utility, I've very much, put it more towards mid than side. Not that I think it had. Okay, so it is stereo. And then equalizer. Really bringing out the brightness of it. So it really cuts through the mix. And then compressor. Really bringing out makeup. And then kickstart for that side chaining pump. Transient shaper. Oof, that's really pushing the sustains. And then delay. Kashya's delay again. Valhalla room. It sits very sharply in the mix, which is pretty much what we want. Because if all of these effects, when they wouldn't sit well, it would just get drowned out by the sound of the other instruments and tracks. And with this section, let me just actually jump back into vocals for a little bit, and let's just finish vocals first before moving on. Actually, before even I do that, this other grand piano section here, it sounds like this. I'm not sure where I got this from, but I think this was part of the native samples from Ableton, and this is what it sounds like with the vocals. I'm not over you, yeah. It's very, very simply processed. I've killed all of the bass. Otherwise, it would sound like this. I don't want the lower notes interfering with the rest of the song. And with Kickstarter, obviously, delay, for some reason I've used the native one. Here I've created another track, just called it backing for some reason, and it goes like this.
I'm not over you, yeah.
So in this section, it's just only I'm not. And I'm pretty sure I've copied all the effects from this Vox into this. I'm sure there's a better way to do it, like, I don't know, use like a return track or something. Ultimately, it goes into Harmonies, which I really love. So it sounds like this.
You better give up to get hold of me. Don't waste your time, cause it's emergency. You better give up. Don't you act so selfishly.
So again, there's that chipmunk effect because I switched the delay because I wanted the delay timing to be different. Harmonies, it's triggered by, once again, auto-tune. And the auto-tune I've used is auto-shift again. I'll put it into MIDI mode and look at what it does.
Give up. Selfishly.
Just to, you know, add some character. I wasn't too sure what the original track had, but I just figured like I'm just gonna play with it. So that's how the vocals sit in the mix. So just to add more character and more atmosphere, I've used these 2 guitar samples, and it sounds like this together. So basically it's just one is rhythm guitar, the other one is lead guitar, and it sounds like this separately. That's your lead guitar, and then there's your rhythm. And just creates a nice atmosphere together. So let's break this down. Again, very simple. It's got EQ weight. It's just to cut through the mix. KHS delay, I'm pretty sure I have. Okay, there's no ducking. KHS stereo. Maybe it was too much. Maybe the stereo was too much. Yeah, cut down the width a little bit, and then kickstart just for pumping, sidechaining. And I'm pretty sure I've done very similar stuff here, just with OTT. And that's the guitar section. This one section, the goth guitars. Okay, let me just play that with vocals. It'll make more sense.
If instead, before it's changing me.
So that's how it plays in the original track as well. It's kind of like gothish guitar, like very chorusy, very 80s shoegazy kind of sort of style. And I've used the same sample in both of this, and I've just pitched this one up. So it's the same sample, just on a different track. And this just gets repeated. It was lots of fun making this. I have always loved this track, and it comes from the album called Trilogy. It's very different from ATB's usual work, but that's the beauty of it. ATB has always been so versatile in his work, and that really inspires me. Even in saying that, even like 1995, Dreamland had not all just same trance tracks. It sort of followed a very similar template, but all of the tracks were not the same. The sounds were consistent, but the rhythm was not exactly the same. Like In My Dreams was a like almost even garage. So that is extremely inspiring, and that's what I feel ATB does as well. Album by ATB. Go check it out. It's beautiful. It has even ambiences. That kind of inspired me to do my Kashya project. If you haven't heard it, I'm going to leave a link in the description. Go suss that out whenever you get time. And thank you for having me back. And I'll see you in the next one. Be seeing you.